I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenburg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you.
A good evening and welcome inside the Allegany Community Center as we are here for some Can-Am Senior B Lacrosse as the Allegany Arrows take on the Onondaga RedHawks. Hello everyone, my name is Trevor Butts. So happy to be here with you all for what should be a very entertaining game between two top teams in the Can-Am Lacrosse League as Anandaga is taking on Alagany. The RedHawks, fresh off of a game last night against the Tonawanda Braves. That one didn't go their way. In fact, it was a dominant effort for Tonawanda that put them in front and allowed them to capture a 20-7 victory over the Onondaga RedHawks in that ball game. Bit of a delay at the moment as there is a hole in the Onondaga net. We had some minors games going on earlier. I believe the last game was midgets, so wondering if one of those guys just, was hitting the weight room so much and blew a hole into the net. As the Allegany roster will be introduced, I will close my mouth and let you take a listen to it.
8, Chase Frazier. 11, Liam Keane. 12, Ben Miller. Number 13, Kyle Gigi. 16, Rudy George. 2, Sherman Williams. 20, I lied. 20, Sherman Williams. 22, Nate Kettle. 25, Christian Watts. Your captain tonight. 28, Jesse Jefferson. 48, Nate Smith. 77, Chris Eckler. 83, Frank Brown. Number 89, Cliff Brooks. Number 94, Josh Connor. 84, Xavier Taylor. Your head coach tonight, Carl. Assistant coach, Chris Blackberry Sr. And camp trainer, James Anderson.
Net appears to be all fixed as we are ready to go here from the Allegany Community Center. Face-off is down as we are underway here as the Allegany Arrows will get the first possession. As the Allegany takes first quick shot, goes up and out of play. And Onondaga will take the ball back down the floor. Here's Lane Smith for the Allegany Arrows. Split dodge there, trying to get to the net, unable to now. Allegany step-in shot, turned away by Fregola. That was Chase Frazier stepping in for the shot for Allegany. Now Lane Smith, outside shot, turned away by Fregola. as a lot of big names in the lineup for Allegany in this one. As we already heard Chase Fraser, Frank Brown, another NLL veteran in the lineup for Allegany. Brown just headed to the bench wearing number 83 as Allegany back on the attack. Chris Atwood on the far side, looking to play it over to the near boards. Misses the pass, and Anandaga will start the breakout, but it'll be a sloppy one that'll lead to a turnover. Quick shot there, goes off the goalie for Gola and onto the near boards. Nate Kettle fighting hard for it along the near wall, unable to come away with it though. Ball onto the near side. Kluche steps in, fires, scores! Chris Kluche gets Allegany on the board, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Arrows. Get another look at that shot there from Kluche. Just steps in and fires it home to put Allegany out in front 1-0.
First goal scores number 2, Chris Kluche, assisted by number 8, Chase Fraser. Also with the assist number 25, Christian Fox, with their goal set 93-50.
Apologies for the break in the commentary, folks. Trying my best here to get the rosters coordinated. Weren't provided till, I think, about 2 minutes before the game today. So kind of going in blind on this one, as there was only also first names provided for Allegany. So apologies if there's a couple Jacks or a couple Johns, whatever it may be on the roster. Only first names were given, so gonna do the best I can here. Darius Anderson with the ball for Allegany. Plays it now for Lane Smith. Smith has some room to operate. Looks for Kettle in the middle. Can't connect on the pass. Lane Smith in the corner. Picks it up. Played up top. Outside look there. Goes wide from Wyatt. Kettle's shot is turned away here by Frigola. Now the RedHawks looking to try to find a way out of their own end. Xavier Taylor back the other way. Ball knocked out of the stick of Fraser in the corner. Taken away by Onondaga. Grant Bucktooth able to get the cause turnover for the RedHawks, but nobody there to help him, and he'll give it right back. Fraser will pick it up. And that's where Bucktooth made the right plays, but got to have the support as Allegany scores in transition. Xavier Taylor buries it. Here's Lane Smith. Back the other way. Shot. Score. Frank Brown puts it home. Lane Smith sets him up. And it's a 3-0 lead for Allegany.
Arrow's third goal, scored by number 83. Frankie Brown, assisted by number 48. Lane Smith, time of that goal, 14:26.
Onondaga looking to try and get their first of the game. Long outside rip there from Pete Benedict goes wide. As Allegany breaks back in transition. Fraser down low. Taylor stopped by Fergola. Big save there for JP Fergola to keep this a 3-goal game. Rio Johnson able to get it now for Anandaga. Quick pass into the corner. Doesn't connect. Onondaga still had the ball for a moment, but do now turn it over. Nate Kettle along the near side. Goes to Atwood on the far boards, who scores. An outside snipe from Chris Atwood puts Allegany up 4-0. Face off down, controlled here by the RedHawks. Blake Terry plays it forward. Low shot there, turned away by Abrams. Second attempt, stopped by Goa. 2 quick looks for the RedHawks as Trevor Hill and Mason Homer had some chances there on Goa Abrams, but the big 0-0 of Goa coming up big here. Smith, the other way, stopped by Fergola. Mason Homer has it along the near side, flips it into the middle for John Pierce. Pierce thought about going on a run there, but decided against it. Johnson quickly to the near boards. Back for Rio Johnson. Down low, picking it back up, regaining control was Hill. 2 quick opportunities, but both of them stopped by Goa Abrams. Now Johnson at the point. Johnson spins off his man Anderson. Rio Johnson goes off the glass. John Pierce lets it fly. Turned away here by Goa Abrams. Clifford Brooks had the loose ball for Allegany as the Arrows bring it up the floor. Kluche coming around the corner. In the middle, shot turned away by Fergola. Rebound right to Kluche. Pass goes all the way up top. Outside look from Watts is blocked in front. Rio Johnson with it here for the RedHawks. Plays it down low. Quick shot on. Goes wide of the net. Loose ball out in front. Picked up by Allegany. Sherman Williams on the loose ball scoop, but the Arrows throw it away. Looking for Watts in the corner. Now Rio Johnson going to take over running the offense here for Onondaga. Johnson goes behind the back to Hill. Onto the near boards now. No 91 on my roster, so I'll wait and try and give you an update on who that is shortly. Ball squeaks past Abrams, but somehow stays out as the Arrows pick it up out of the crease. Long pass forward, caught by Fraser as he shows off the athleticism there with that one-handed grab. Now Lane Smith. 4-on-4 lacrosse here for the Arrows. Smith behind the back to Kettle. Shot on, turned away by Fergola. Loose ball out in front, kicked into the crease. Fergola sends a long bomb forward that'll miss the stick of Frank Brown, but he'll play it off the glass. Brown takes a late slash from Rio Johnson as he brings the ball up the floor. Brown in the middle, scores! Frank Brown streaking through the middle of the floor, buries the shot, and it's a 5-0 lead for Allegany. And you can see the passing on display here for the Arrows as a great find in the middle for a streaking Frank Brown that buries that one. The shots right now 13-9 in favor of the Allegany Arrows, as Onondaga doing much better in the shot column tonight than they were last night, but still find themselves down big on the scoreboard. But all it could take is just that one to get the RedHawks back into this game. Fraser trying to break some ankles out there, unable to here. Good job staying with them by the RedHawks defenders, as now they might have a break here. Back the other way goes Onondaga, trying to create a chance and go between the legs for the RedHawks on Fraser himself. But unable to get the shot off there was the RedHawks 61. Ball here with Onondaga. Quick shot on and they score. And you can see a little bit there, the end of the goal for Anandaga that puts the RedHawks on the board. And here you'll see a better look at that play. And right now, I'm going with Dustin Hill is the man who scored that goal, based on what I can piece together from the information I have been given. If that is incorrect, I apologize, as a RedHawk just got an early line change into the Allegany bench. But it does draw a penalty, which could be what the RedHawks are looking for. If you know who some of these mystery men are for Onondaga, let me know, as we are missing a few. Stoned Gamer in the chat. Funny nickname. Yes, Onondaga is in blue. I know it is a little odd seeing it. The RedHawks wearing blue against Alagany, who also typically wears blue, but no, it is a lighter shade, as Onondaga rocking a very cool looking alternate jersey that definitely goes against the traditional red, white, and black color scheme for the Onondaga RedHawks. But I think it's a sharp look as they go left to right, or right to left, excuse me, on your screen, as Onondaga will be on the power play. And how about the look for Allegany? They're going to go left to right across your screen. They're in the yellow with the Allegany word mark. As those are some nice threads for the Arrows as well, as Onondaga about to start their power. As we're talking about the Allegany uniforms, some very helpful children came up here and tried to inform me on some of the players here for both sides. I appreciate their help very much. Allegany is in the yellow with the Allegany word mark, as jerseys kind of remind me a little of some of the Swarms designs they've had with the blue shoulders, as now it appears penalties will be assessed to both sides, as I do see a RedHawk in the penalty box. So No longer will it be a power play for Onondaga. Instead, we'll play some 4-on-4 lacrosse. And the biggest thing, that gives the ball back to Allegany, as they're going to call it back in here on Onondaga's Kevin Bucktooth, which will keep possession with the Allegany Arrows here. 4-on-4 lacrosse, lots of open room. Josh Becker flips into the middle, one-handed for Lane Smith, who takes a heavy hit there from Bucktooth, but able to get up and stick with the play. Fraser can't bury the shot. Bucktooth loses control. Fergola picks it up behind his own net, and outlets now for Mason Homer. 2-on-1 here for Onondaga. Homer has a man down low. Quick shot on from Hill is stopped by Goa Abrams. Two of the best attacking threats for Onondaga shut down right there. Trevor Hill and Mason Homer in transition, nearly getting the second straight Onondaga RedHawk goal. Chris Atwood, bounce pass over to the far side. Christian Watts now to Kluche. Kluche gets a pick from Anderson, has some room, steps in and fires. Rebound there for Watts, can't pick it up. Who's going to come away with it? Two RedHawks in there. Instead, it's an arrow in Atwood, who got the shot away, but unable to put it past JP Fergola. Hot Rod saying they're both throwback jerseys in the chat. It's some cool looks. Love the throwback jerseys. Always fun to shake it up every now and again, as both sides paying tribute to the past here. As I always love talking about the jerseys and pointing that out. I'm glad the chat mentioned that as well. Always interesting, the combinations we get to see here in the Can-Am, as I'm liking the look of both so far. Onondaga looking to try and put that one home, but unable to do so there, as back the other way go Allegany. Taylor down low, shot on, stopped by Fergola. Taylor picks up the rebound and is drilled. Xavier Taylor drilled there after picking up the loose ball. His teammates will let him know what they think of his effort there, as they give him some stick taps. Yeah, no doubt about that one, as Grant Bucktooth goes right through the numbers. Stick gets up into the head neck area. An easy penalty call for the official with 8 seconds remaining in the initial penalties. So Allegany 4-on-3 right now. It'll be 5-on-4 momentarily. Quick shot there from Smith, denied by Fergola. Second attempt from Lane Smith is stopped by JP Fergola. He is having a very nice game, is JP Fergola, and he's been tested often in this one. Fergola is a warrior out there for Onondaga. Faced over 80 shots last night against the Tonawanda Braves. Back out there again today. Kuche scores. A perfect shot right to the bottom left corner from Chris Kluche. Nothing that Fergola could do about that one, as Kluche had all kinds of time, and you just cannot, I repeat, you cannot give Chris Kluche room to step in and shoot like that. You got to get out on his hands if you want to defend him and try and slow him down. Far too open of a look there for Kluche, as he scores on the power play to increase it to a 5-goal lead now for Allegany, as Kluche makes it a 6-1 scoreline here with just under 6 minutes to go. As Allegany back on the attack. Ball in the stick of Chase Fraser. Fraser started to drive. Instead spins back. Goes for Kluche down low, but the pass picked off. Homer intercepts the pass. Sends it forward. Gabe Edwards has it now. Edwards in transition. Quick shot on wide. Rebound snagged by Edwards. Played in front, but no shot off there. And possession will stay with Onondaga, as that was Bryson Jones, number 91, on the shot. Gabe Edwards rocking 61. As we're starting to fill in the missing pieces. Once again, thank you to all the kids running around, helping me out, going over to the other side of the arena and getting the stats and whatnot, the rosters for me. I appreciate it. I wish I could have got their names, but they are all moving and running so fast. But I'm sure they'll be back soon as Allegany back on the attack here as the Arrows look to go to work and extend the lead. Christian Watts looks for Lane Smith on the near side. Ball pops out of Smith's stick, but he's able to pick it back up. Into the middle, Anderson looking to get a shot off. Can't. Second attempt from Smith. Doesn't find the target. And possession will go to Onondaga, but a whistle here will stop play.
Penalty assessed for the RedHawks, number 43, Goalie.
Penalty will go to Grant Buck for Anandaga, as this is the last thing you want to do. Put a dangerous Allegany power play unit on the floor. As look at the lineup they got. Fraser lets it go. Can't get it on net. Fraser, Atwood, Cloutier, Watson, Smith. What a five-man power play unit that is for the Allegany Arrows. Unable to strike here, but still a minute 41 remaining in the penalty to Bucktooth, as Onondaga looks to try and kill some more time off the clock. Rio Johnson with it on the outside. Plays it for Jones. Jones onto the near boards now. He'll go in and set a pick for Hill. Now onto the far side. Creek Heathers looks for a shot. Ends up getting stuck in traffic here. Picked up by Jones. Jones up for Johnson. The lefty goes to the far side. Cathers off the boards. Onondaga starting to run out of time. Shot will go wide. They're going to say it caught a piece of the net, and Rio Johnson scores. Onondaga got the reset, and thank goodness they did. Rio Johnson able to catch the rebound and bury it. And there you can see Rio picks it up calmly, steps in and fires it home to give Onondaga their second goal of the game. And Rio had an uncharacteristically quiet game yesterday in Tonawanda. Usually we're used to seeing a guy like Rio Johnson, pop off and score 3, 4, 5 goals even. He is an uber talented player, but quiet last night. But he's saying, I'm not going to be quiet for 2 games in a row. Rio Johnson gets his first of the game. Bryson Jones will pick up the assist. Ball here with Allegany as Chris Atwood will approach the halfway line as the official gives him the go-ahead to resume play. Shot and they score. The Arrows add another. The lead grows now for Allegany. It's a 7-2 ball game, and you'll get another look at this one. Fraser just all kinds of time steps in and beats Fergola to the low corner. As Fraser picks up the goal for Allegany. The Arrows lead is now 5 as the reigning Can-Am champion Allegany Arrows on the hunt here. Watts goes to Cloutier on the far side. Arrows were 3-on-2, now they're 4-on-3 as they're waiting for an extra man to get up into the attacking zone. They are able to get a man off the bench now. Here's Cloutier, looking for a shot. Cloutier fires, stopped by Fergola. Loose ball snagged here by the RedHawks. Here comes Onondaga's Blake Terry. Terry trying to ward off Cloutier. Terry able to get past him and find an open pass in the middle. Toe drag there from Hill is stopped as Goalie Abrams makes the save. Frank Brown now. Atwood in transition. Rebound for Brown. Tucks it home. What a nifty move from Frank Brown to extend the Allegany lead. It is now a 6-goal lead. Look at the moves there from Frankie Brown. Fake high, fake low, fake everywhere you go for Frank Brown. As we got to look at this one again here. Brown picks it up off the boards, all kinds of dipsy doodle moves, and then tucks it past JP Fergola for the 8th goal of the period for the Allegany Arrows. Nate Kettle has the ball in his stick, goes to Lane Smith. Smith forced into the near boards. Outside look there, goes wide. Wyatt Cooper letting it go, and it'll be an over and back call on Allegany. Jones gets things started once again now for the RedHawks. Trevor Hill goes to Rio Johnson. Johnson working hard to try and create some space. Johnson can't get his pass to connect. Taken away here by Allegany. Chris Atwood with it now. First Cloutier starts his drive, passes it off. Atwood with the shot wide of the net. Loose ball will be saved by Watts as Becker plays it forward. Time running down here for Allegany as it'll be a shot clock violation on the Allegany Arrows. John Pierce brings it forward for Onondaga. Pierce had a very good game last night in Tonawanda. Very impressed about what I saw from him as Rio Johnson rings one off the post. Man, that one left a vapor trail for Rio Johnson. You'll get another look at it here as he just steps in, fires it right off the pipe as Johnson's shot is turned away. Jones as Allegany breaks forward. Fraser all alone goes to take flight but can't tuck it home. Looking for the style points there was Chase Fraser. When isn't he? As you can see right there, trying to take flight through the crease and duck it over the right shoulder of Fergola, but too much muscle on that one as it goes wide. Fraser outside look there, soaked by an Onondaga RedHawk. Think that went off of Tyson Johnson. Number 82 for Onondaga. Great number choice for him. Fraser can't dunk that one home. Johnson picks up the rebound. Tyson Johnson. It's a pass that goes off the glass. It'll make it over the halfway line, but bounce into the Allegany bench. Turnover against the RedHawks as Allegany will have the possession. Cloutier with only 4 seconds left. Smith stopped. Rebound can't be snagged by Kettle, and that'll do it for the first period of play. And what a period it was for the Allegany Arrows, who have an 8-2 lead. Before we step aside, just like to go over the shots here as 27 Allegany shots in that first period to 18 for Onondaga. So lots of shots being delivered by both sides. As just before we step aside, we'd like to go over the league leaders in goals in the Can-Am. This was as of the latest Facebook post from the Can-Am Lacrosse League not too long ago. Some games have taken place in between, but as of their latest post, the league leading scorer in goals was Lane Smith with 28 goals from the Allegany Arrows. Gates Abrams, got to see him last night. He's tied with his teammate Owen Hill on 19 goals. Xavier Taylor here for Allegany. I know he's already tacked on a couple in this one. Came into today with 15 on the year. And then Waylon Abrams as well. 15 goals for him as him and Taylor are tied for 4th in the Can-Am in goals. We'd also like to take this time to thank Goodies Dispensary along with CB's Cannabis Dispensary as well. Thank them for all their support and for everything that they do. They help to make these streams possible. CB's Cannabis Club and Goodies Dispensary, thank you once again for your support here at Blue Squatch Productions.
We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game.
Be sure to stick around and enjoy the intermission entertainment down on the floor.
We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out.
Back here on Blue Squatch Productions as we are underway during the second period of play. As there was a bit of a delay, officials just making sure everything is sorted out and under control as we are all good and back underway here from the Allegany Community Center as the Allegany Arrows lead the Onondaga RedHawks 8-2 after what was an impressive first period of play for Allegany. Onondaga showing a lot of fight and a lot of heart despite the short numbers. Definitely a bit more for them today as they tack on their third. Outside shot there from Pete Benedict. Finds the back of the net. Caught Goa Abrams sleeping as Benedict winds up and unloads all the way from the Allegany Arrows logo on the floor. What an outside rip there from Pete Benedict as he puts that one into the back of the net for the third Onondaga goal of the game. The RedHawks, as I mentioned, a team that shows a lot of heart despite the numbers that they have right now. They're never going to give up on any game. They play for so much pride and with so much heart, and it's on full display right here as Pierce pass it down low, quick shot, they score. 2 quick goals for the RedHawks. Don't go anywhere yet, folks. And here you can see Anandaga starting to find their rhythm. Great pass down low and a quick stick finish from Gabe Edwards right on the crease to make it an 8-4 scoreline here in period number 2. I know the board says period 1. It is the second period, and here comes Onondaga back for more. That is Mason Homer who lost control there along the crease. Ball pops into the stick of Josh Becker for Allegany. Becker plays it forward. Here come the Arrows in transition. Lane Smith, great move to get to the net, but misses wide on the shot. Taylor with an excellent check there to knock the ball free. Unable to get to it though. Good recovery there by Dan Rogers for Onondaga. Now outside shot from Edwards, stopped by Goa. Rogers thought about the late check, decided against it as the Arrows come back the other way in transition. Liam Keene, D-guy, thought about pushing but decides to flip it over to Chris Atwood. A good option if you ask me. Chris Atwood, one of the most talented players you'll find here as the pass in the middle misses Watts. Miss everybody except Lane Smith who finds it in the middle, but Fregola makes the save. Now Atwood all alone, turned away by Fregola. 2 quick saves for JP Fregola, keep this a 4-goal game. Now Fraser looking to get the momentum back for Allegany as we have an arrow on the floor. Lane Smith knocked down to the ground as we will try and take another look at this. I didn't see the initial hit that got Smith, but looks like he might have just caught him with an elbow there, as I want to say that was Kevin Bucktooth who delivered it. Let's see again here as Smith. I mean, on second look, that doesn't look like any sort of an elbow to me. Ooh. Roughing the call. Not sure I agree with it, but we have some of the best officials here in the Can-Am Lacrosse League. Looked like as clean of a body check as you can deliver, but anyways, our officials make the call. They got a much better view on it than we do up here. And they saw a penalty against Onondaga, so that is the call as Bucktooth sits. Transition chance for the RedHawks, but wide of the net there off of Bryson Jones's stick. Darius Anderson now back the other way. Anderson not going to push it here for Allegany. Smart decision with the arrows on the power play. Pass through the middle, knocked down. Picked up by Jones. Jones pressed up against the glass, loses control. Grabbed now by the arrows as they go on the power play. Pass up top, outside shot from Cloutier goes wide, but off of a RedHawk and back over the midfield line, so it will not be an over and back call. Cloutier takes a look from outside, can't get it on target, will get his own rebound, but will just shuffle it on net. Shot does find the target in time, so it is a reset here for Allegany, and they're able to secure the loose ball. That is a huge play for Allegany. Cloutier directing traffic down low. Watts fighting through some defenders. Out for Cloutier. Rings it off the post. Man, I think the net's still shaking from that shot from Cloutier. Now Watts buries it. First it was Cloutier who rung the iron, and Christian Watts finds the bottom right corner to extend the Allegany lead to 5, as it is a 9-4 game. A snipe there from Christian Watts to find that bottom right corner. An excellent shot there. You could see on the replay, Fergola just was a step too far and left that bottom right corner open and allowed for Watts to pick up that goal, as now here comes Anandaga in transition. Shot blocked there by Rudy George. It was a 3-on-1 for the RedHawks, but that does not come to pass. Fraser boots the loose ball. Back the other way it goes. Hill, who's denied, or Homer, denied by Goa. Now Allegany playing some quick transition lacrosse the other way. Xavier Taylor staying up for the attack. Ball into the middle. Back now outside for Taylor. Taylor trying to use the face dodge to get in, but thwarted here. Watts steps in, fires, saved by Fergola. Loose ball right to an arrow. Taylor outside shot, denied by Fergola. Loose ball snagged by Allegany. Christian Watts goes cross floor to Cloutier. Cloutier plays it down low. Brown trying to tuck that one home, can't do so here. Looking for them tuck right over the shoulder of Fergola. Now Cloutier flips it back for Becker. Outside Cloutier. Stepping into the middle. All kinds of room. Shot is stopped. Rebound picked up by the RedHawks as Fergola goes out and sets a pick. Doing his best Matt Vince impersonation there as he sets a pick on Taylor. There's John Pierce looking for the shot. Taken away by Anderson. 2-on-0 now for Allegany. Anderson all alone on a break. Shot denied. JP Fergola dialed in now as the RedHawks look to try and get their 5th here. Cathers into the middle. Shot saved by Goa. Homer and Cathers nearly combined for the 5th RedHawk goal of the game. Onondaga going to need to start getting some support on that end. Started this period well, but going to have to get some more support and be better here throughout, because JP Fergola has given them a good chance to get back into this ball game. Outlet pass goes to no one other than Fraser. Fraser drives in, shot denied by Fergola. I'll tell you what, no matter the result, JP Fergola is going to have a nice highlight reel of stopping some NLL talent as he denies Smith, as he has made some big saves on Fraser. Cloutier and the likes as Fraser tries to dunk it home from behind the net, but unable to put it behind the goal line as Onondaga gets the ball back and immediately turns it over. Liam Keane picks the pass off. Taylor in transition. Taylor down low for Atwood off the crossbar. Chris Atwood wrung it off the bar as Allegany was trying to strike quick in transition. Giving you a look here. Shot right off the crossbar as back to live action. Kettle picks it up along the far boards. All kinds of room for Kettle to step in and shoot, but puts it right into the chest of Frigola. Outlet pass for Edwards. Edwards gonna slow things down here as the RedHawks go on the attack. Pete Benedict had a great outside goal earlier in this game. Rio Johnson has the ball in his stick. Johnson drives in. Good defending there by Allegany. Johnson flips it to Cathers. Cathers looking for the low corner, can't find it. Anderson quickly back the other way now. Darius Anderson finds Fraser off the bench. Fraser with a low shot, he scores. Chase Fraser comes off the bench and gives Allegany their 10th goal of the game. And you can see the arrows. 3-on-2, Fraser drives in and buries that one as the shots now starting to really widen the gap as Allegany up to 46, Onondaga at 25 as the gap continues to widen. So by our count, only 7 shots for the RedHawks in this quarter. They have scored a few of them as Cloutier tucks that one home. Crease violation, says the official. Kluch has some words for the official walking off. You be the judge here. I'm not sure, but gotta look at it there. We'll have to go back and check that one out at the end of the period if we have time, because that was a close call there that would have given Allegany their 11th goal of the game. Cree Cathers, the Anandaga captain, goes down low. Man falls into the crease, and we have a RedHawk that is down, and John Pierce is in some discomfort. Pierce took a heavy shot there as we could hear some Onondaga fans clamoring for a penalty call. That they might think they're owed one after a soft one against them earlier, and not going to get one there. Just some good defending being done, says the official, by the Allegany Arrows, as I hope John Pierce is able to get back out there soon. He took a heavy hit in last night's game against Tonawanda, but he was able to return, which was great to see, and even better to see him out here today. Hopefully he is all right and back out there shortly. He was very impressive last night for the RedHawks and has been a little quieter so far, but if he gets going, look out. John Pierce is a threat at all times for Onondaga. Right now, it is Allegany looking to threaten. Christian Watts goes down low. Coming around the crease is Kettle. Kettle looking for an option, decides to shoot, but Frigola read it all the way and makes the save. Blake Terry trying to play it forward, but Fraser takes it away from him. Man off the bench in Smith. Smith with a shot. Saved by Frigola. Another big save by JP Frigola. Fraser has a lane to the net. Fraser gonna take it. Denied by Frigola. Allegany really starting to let the shots fly in this one, but JP Frigola has been up to the task by and large throughout this game, as he is facing more than his fair share of shots throughout these last 2 RedHawk games. Ball up top for Jones. Bryson Jones. Now for Benedict. Looking down low for Jones. Can't find him. Cloutier snags that ball off the glass. Has Taylor in transition who will backpedal. Taylor has a man off the bench, and Kettle can't finish that one. Lost control at the last second, did Kettle, as John Pierce picks it up and brings it back up the floor. Pierce, great to see him back out there for Onondaga, will go to his left onto the far boards. Return feed will get to Pierce, but not in the conventional way, as he will end up losing control. Rudy George picks it up, outlets it forward. Here comes Atwood off the bench, flipping it back. Becker with a shot, denied by Frigola. Miller lets it go. Shot goes wide of the net. Ben Miller letting the shot fly. No touch off the goaltender, says the official. So it will be a turnover in possession. Ball goes the length of the floor, skipping past Gabe Edwards, and now into the crease of Goa Abrams. Kyle Ganosarek goes to Lane Smith. Here's Smith. Finds Chris Atwood in the near corner. Smith in the middle. Kuche with a shot. Denied by Fragola. My goodness, JP Fragola is making life difficult now for Allegany. Here comes Benedict the other way. Shot goes wide. Great chance for Onondaga in transition, but the RedHawks can't strike. Allegany back the other way is denied. Lane Smith stuffed here by Fragola. And man, oh man, JP Fragola starting to get hot in this one. He's done a great job to hold Allegany to 10 at this point, as he has been peppered all throughout this game. What a performance so far from Fragola. Here's Rio Johnson, unload, shot denied by Goa. Loose ball out in front. Jones able to get high and snag that one, using every bit of that frame to make sure his team has the ball. Rio Johnson now, off the pass from Benedict. Johnson goes to the far side for Jones, now Benedict. Back for Rio Johnson, quick look down low for Hill, can't get the shot off. Hill fighting hard for the rebound, instead it's Jones. Outside look there for Benedict, shot goes wide and up into the netting and out of play. Allegany back the other way, Xavier Taylor 2-on-1, shot stopped, rebound picked up now. Fraser trying to go between the legs, can't get the shot off. Fraser behind the back feed into the middle, as Wyatt Cooper couldn't hang on to that one, streaking through the middle of the floor. Dan Rogers bringing it forward. Rogers goes to Pierce. Pierce splits the D, takes the low shot, and he scores. Uh-oh. John Pierce heating up for Anandaga, and the RedHawks are within 5. And what did I tell you all about John Pierce when he starts to heat up? Great move, splits the double team on the defense, gets to the net right down the pipe, and buries it with an excellent shot to the low corner, as Pierce brings Onondaga within 5, as our goalies will get a water break. We will step aside for a moment as we say thank you to CB's Cannabis Depot and Goodies Dispensary for their support of Blue Squatch Productions.
We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenburg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenburg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank
Back now on Blue Squatch Productions after the brief break in the action. Dan Rogers was announced as credited with that assist on the latest goal for John Pierce, as Rogers got to talk with his father, Frank, a bit before the game. Very nice man. Dan got to see him as well before the game. Product of Syracuse, as he's one of the veterans here on this Onondaga team. Great leader on the defensive side of the floor, as Goa Abrams sends an outlet pass forward. Connecting there is Jimerson, who's unable to get the shot off, but wisely keeps hold of the ball to make sure his team has the possession. Jimerson looking for an option now with 13 seconds left on the shot clock. Chris Atwood into the middle. Watts with the shot, goes wide. Josh Becker picks up the loose ball. Now Atwood with the low drive, denied by Fragola. Chris Atwood spent some time in the Arena Lacrosse League with the Oswegan Bears, traded by the Oshawa Outlaws earlier in his career. In 13 games with Oswegan, 16 goals, 53 points for Chris Atwood. Guy who played his junior lacrosse with the Whitby Warriors and St. Catherine's Athletics, as driving in for the shot there was Bryson Jones, as Onondaga will keep possession. Hill looking for the open lane, can't find it here. Hill looking for Johnson down low, pass is disrupted. Ends up in the stick of Taylor. Now Atwood going forward. Atwood over for Smith. Can't catch that one. Flicks it to Atwood, though, who is denied. Oh, my goodness. JP Frigola has taken over this game for Onondaga. He is dialed in right now in between the pipes. The Arrows got to do anything they can to disrupt his rhythm right now. Maybe that includes ringing one off the dome, which they did to Frigola right there, but that young man is unfazed. What a performance put on by Frigola so far, as he's facing some of the world's best players, but he is making it look easy right now. Smith driving in, trying to find Taylor on the crease. Couldn't do so here. Smith behind the cage, looking for Taylor in the middle. Pass is knocked down. Kevin Bucktooth getting his stick up in the passing lane. Shot clock ticking down here on Allegany, as the clock will strike 0 as Lane Smith picks up the ball. Looking towards the corner. I think he wanted a reset, as he thought the RedHawks had possession, but official says nope, it's a shot clock violation, and Onondaga will bring the ball up the floor. Here's Trevor Hill. Hill has a pass in the middle. Behind the back shot from Pierce. Stopped by Goa Abrams. Quick possession there for Allegany. Now back the other way. Jimerson for the shot. He scores. That's what the Allegany Arrows were looking for, and it comes from their assistant captain, Jesse Jimerson, as he's able to finally get one past Frigola in what seems like an eternity, as JP Frigola has had an excellent quarter here for the Onondaga RedHawks. But Jesse Jimerson on the breakaway puts the 11th goal of the game past Frigola, as Jimerson, an impressive player here, as Fraser goes down, denied by Frigola. Fraser looking for the top left corner, but Frigola gets that big right arm up in the way. Now Johnson looking to answer. Johnson denied. Loose ball in the crease, as Blake Terry went to pick it up, knocked the stick right out of the hands of Clifford Brooks. Knocked that beautiful wooden traditional stick out of the hands of Brooks, and he will get hit with a penalty for it, as it'll be an interference call against Terry and the RedHawks that will send up an Allegany power play. And if you're Onondaga, it feels like you've been finally starting to get back into this game this quarter. Your goalie and your defense have been doing some good work for you. The last thing you want to do is put Allegany on the power play, as this is one potent unit for the Arrows. Fraser, quick feet down low for Smith, denied on the quick stick shot. Frigola with another big save. Long passes knocked down, but it gets to Rio Johnson. Chance now for Onondaga in transition. Edwards stopped. Johnson gets the loose ball in the corner, though. Goes behind the back looking for Edwards. A bit too fancy there. And now Allegany back the other way. Liam Keene picks it up. Keene, 2-on-2 now. Keene plays it in the middle. Jimerson looking for 2 in a row, and he scores! What a great move for Jesse Jimerson, who strikes again. 2 in a row for Jimerson, 2 in a row for Allegany, as the Arrows get their 12th. As you see Jimerson doing a nice bit of dancing here to stay out of the crease. Airborne tucks it home over the shoulder of Frigola. Man, we've seen Chase Fraser try and do that a few times, seen Cloutier try and do it, but it's Jesse Jimerson who gets that shot to go, as we will have a timeout on the floor. As Onondaga will call timeout, we will step aside. 12-5 the lead here on Blue Squatch Productions.
We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenburg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenburg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenburg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up.
Back to live action here inside the Allegany Community Center. A big thank you to all 108 plus of you out there watching this one live, as you have been treated to a good one here as Edwards nearly buries that for Onondaga. Abrams made the save, but I think officials said he was in the crease either way, so it wouldn't have counted regardless, as this has been a great game, and it continues. Chris Cloutier buries it short side, and now the momentum back in the favor of the Arrows, as Anandaga had it for a good portion of this second period, but really just unable to take advantage of it, as Cloutier gets another chance at goal, buries it short side to beat Fregola, and nothing much you could do. That is, I believe, the 64th shot of the game for Allegany, as they have just been lighting up JP Fregola so far, but he's done all he can. If you're facing 60 plus already and only 13 have gotten by, you're doing a fairly good job, as there's been quite a few high quality chances that Fregola has stopped. So he is really doing all he can. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this game, he's faced 200 plus shots in 2 days. He had to have faced, I want to say, 80 or so last night, as if he can face another 80 again, you're pushing 200 real quick there, as Cree Cathers will get the ball for Onondaga, as the captain for the RedHawks, Cree Cathers, brings the ball up the floor. Cathers goes with the cross-floor pass to Jones. Jones moves it down low for Benedict. Benedict bobbles that one, but gets control now. Benedict pressured there by Allegany, as that one squeaks home. We'll get you another look at this one right here, as Benedict able to step in and shoot. Ball got caught up in the equipment of Goa Abrams and then just trickles past into the back of the net. We'll give you one more look at it here, as you can see Benedict able to beat his man, wind up fire. Goa gets a piece of it, but not enough, just trickles home, as Benedict adds another one to his tally, as he has been an impressive player in this game, along with last night as well. Pete Benedict, a very noticeable player, as we will have a penalty coming up to Allegany, as there's some rough stuff going on off ball. Had to imagine that is what led to the call. Dunk opportunity. Rio Johnson got it in the back of the net, but it was a crease violation, as we will now take a look at the penalty. And it'll be an illegal cross-check call coming up against the Arrows, as you were just able to catch a piece of it there, as the penalty goes against Ben Miller, number 12 for Allegany. Here come the RedHawks on the attack. The captain, Cree Cathers, goes to Rio Johnson. Now up top for Edwards. Benedict quickly moved down low. Pierce into the middle, looking for Cathers. Can't connect on the pass. Under a minute to play in regulation. 10 on the shot clock. Feet up top. Benedict back for Cathers. Down low, looking for Pierce. Can't find him. Loose ball grab by Taylor. He's got some speed, looking to push in transition. Taylor passes it back now. Anderson moves it down low for Jesse Jimerson as the Arrows decide it's the smart thing to do to try and kill the clock, and that is the absolutely correct decision as Xavier Taylor takes a shot on net, but Fragola, with probably his easiest save of the night, makes the stop as Onondaga will have about 16 seconds to work with on the attack. Here's Rio Johnson. Up top for Edwards. Far side. Pierce winds up and fires, but blasts it wide. Over and back call with 4.7 seconds left will give Allegany the ball and a chance to maybe get one last shot off here before the end of the second period. Smith's going to do just that, trying to tuck it home there, but Fragola hugs his post and keeps this a 13-6 score here as the Allegany Arrows starting to really run up the shots on the Onondaga RedHawks. 66 shots now for Allegany compared to 37 for Onondaga as Fragola is facing a lot of rubber in this one, but he has been up to the task doing a great job. But it is the Arrows who are out in front. The potent Allegany attack has been just too much to handle right now for Onondaga as we have reached the end of the second period of play. Common Guy saying loves the double look there at that trickle-in goal. Well, I'm glad you like it. Try to get some two-look replays in there every now and again, but it can be tough. You know, lacrosse, such a fast game, hard to get two looks, but we're able to get one there. As you can see that ball just trickle past Goa Abrams. Before we get into the intermission entertainment, we'd like to give you a look at the Can-Am leaders in points. This, like the leaders in goals, is from the Can-Am's last update when they posted it on their Facebook page. Be sure to go check that out for all the other updates that come from the Can-Am Lacrosse League. As you can see, the league leader in points at the time, Gates Abrams, had 55 points from the Tonawanda Braves. Shortly behind him, Lane Smith with 46 points. Owen Hill, 37 points on the season for Tonawanda. Zach Miller from Allegany, fourth with 33. And then Waylon Abrams rounds out the top five with 30 points on the season. Enjoy the intermission entertainment here from the Allegany Community Center. I'd like to give one more shout out to CB's Cannabis Depot and Goodies Dispensary. Thank you to the both of them for the work that they do and for their support of Blue Squatch Productions. Without their support, these streams would not be possible. So thank you to them here. As we have reached the end of two, it is a 13-6 score in favor of the Allegany Arrows on Blue Squatch Productions.
We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with two locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with two locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with two locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with two locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. I'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game.
Welcome back to Blue Squatch Productions. The Allegany Arrows a bit slow coming out of the locker room, and they will pay the price for it as they were assessed a delay of game penalty. I was just telling my good friend Jason Pragle that I remember seeing the Bandits get hit with that penalty one time years ago, and I hadn't seen it since. I've never exactly known the threshold for what it needs to be declared a penalty for delay of game for just coming out onto the floor, and we discussed it, and if the clock hits 0, that is a delay of game, and that's exactly what happened here. Allegany little slow getting out of the locker room, so the RedHawks will look to try and capitalize. 5-on-3 now. Great opportunity for Onondaga to try and strike quickly here, but not going to happen on this possession. Jimerson had it but lost it. 3-on-2 now. Johnson not going to push as he's waiting for his teammates to get back down the floor in John Pearson Creek Cathers. Onondaga going to run 4-on-3 here with Cathers out at the halfway line. Heavy cross-check delivered there by Xavier Taylor as he makes a nice move to get open. Taylor drives to that pass, overshot, stopped by Fragola. Ben Miller trying to bury that one. Still Taylor. Taylor driving in, looking to create the shot, but ends up throwing the pass up for Chase Fraser. Fraser plays it down low, looking for Miller, goes off the back of the net and into the crease. Possession for Allegany. 5-on-4 now, as there's only 40 seconds remaining in the Allegany delay of game penalty. Wyatt Cooper, the in-home for Allegany, serving the penalty. Johnson, up top shot there from Hill, goes wide. Pete Benedict going to chase after it, but it will be an over and back violation against Onondaga, giving possession to Allegany with 18 seconds remaining in the penalty. Chris Atwood with it up top. Now Cloutier on the near side. Cloutier, a born winner, 3-time NLL champion, a national champion at North Carolina, and a former Can-Am champion as well with this Arrows team last year. His shot is stopped by Fregola. Now Cloutier looking for another shot. Goes over to Watts, who blasts it home. Grip it and rip it, Christian Watts. He buries another one, and Allegany extends the lead. Christian Watts spent some time this past season with the Halifax Thunderbirds. Played in two games with Buffalo, 1 game with Halifax in his NLL career, 2 career assists for him at the highest level. A former 2022 5th-round draft pick, 82nd overall by the Buffalo Bandits. In Christian Watts, the product of Siena, as the former Saint puts the 14th goal on the board here for Allegany. Atwood looking to add the 15th, but it's blocked in front as Jason Ostoon wore that one, and he will head to the bench. Watts looking to add another, but denied by the left leg of JP Fregola. Now Fraser, toe drag, gets in for the shot, but can't get it past JP Fregola. Another big save for Fregola in between the pipes. Leslie Kettle in the chat, let's go Arrows. Cheering on her Allegany team as Sheldon, not sure who's sponsoring the game, Goodies is sponsoring, as well as CB's Cannabis Depot, our 2 sponsors here in this one. Big thanks to both of them for their support as the shot clock will run out here on Onondaga. RedHawks just dump it into the corner as Allegany will look to try and get the ball up the floor here. Clifford Brooks having some trouble with it, but able to regain control. Now Darius Anderson in the middle. Anderson plays it back for Kettle. Nate Kettle starting to drive in. Kettle pushed right back by John Pierce. John Pierce not going to let Nate Kettle drive in that easily. Outside rip there from Taylor goes well wide, and will be an over and back call. Over 100 of you out there, thank you so much for spending part of your Saturday night here watching Blue Squatch Productions presentation of Can-Am Lacrosse, as that shot from Bryson Jones is stopped by Goa Abrams, as the 7-3 Allegany Arrows taking on the 3-6 Onondaga RedHawks. Here comes Keene in transition. Keene looking to tuck it home, but puts it high over the net. Seen the Arrows try that shot quite a few times in this one, but only one man has been able to get it go, and that's Jesse Jimerson, the D guy, getting up, showing the forwards how to do it, as Goa went to try and pick off that pass, but it makes it to Cathers. Now up top for Benedict with a long shot, trying to catch Goa sleeping, but Captain America makes the save. Back the other way goes Allegany. Frank Brown going to slow things down and flip it over to Chris Atwood. Atwood on his offside goes into the corner for Xavier Taylor. Josh Becker messed up 94 and 84 as Fraser lets an outside shot go. Trying to pick up the rebound one-handed, can't do so. Instead, it goes to Grant Bucktooth. Bucktooth spins into the middle of the floor, and will calmly play it over for Bryson Jones coming off the bench. Jones goes to Creek Cathers in the middle. Cathers picked up by Taylor. Now in the middle for Edwards. Bryson Jones on the near side. Jones knocked down by Brooks. And ball will go to Allegany. Here come the Arrows in transition. Miller on a break. Stopped by Fregola. Another big save for JP Fregola. This one coming on the breakaway, as I'll try and get you a quick look at it here. You can see Ben Miller had all kinds of time on the breakaway. Walks in and is denied by JP Fergola. Here's John Pierce looking to help out his goalie, puts the shot wide. Johnson with the hustle to get that one back and keep it from going over the line. Takes the long shot, but it is taken away by Allegany's Liam Keene. Keene plays it over to Darius Anderson on the near side. Cloutier directing traffic in the middle of the floor. Cloutier just passes down low. Up top, driving in, shot off the post. Another chance here for Alagany. Fraser, his shot is blocked. And Kevin Bucktooth gonna give him an extra cross check just for fun, as Kettle somehow winds up with that ball, loses his bucket, and will draw the penalty, as Cloutier able to secure possession now. Cloutier has the ball, as we have all kinds of commotion down on the floor, as it'll be a high sticking call against Alagany, or against Onondaga, excuse me, that'll lead to an Alagany power play. Here is, we will get you a look at it. And you can see Kettle in there, and oh yeah, helmet knocked right off, as I believe that was Grant Bucktooth who got his arm up in the head area of Kettle, knocking that helmet off. 2 penalties will be assessed to Anandaga. Saw the second one right at the end, didn't clip it though, so apologies, no look for it. As Anandaga will be down 2 players now. Fragola, what a save on Watts. Smith to Watts, they score. Christian Watts, 2 straight chances on the doorstep. He's gonna bury one of them, and he does right here. Second opportunity, as Smith had all the attention of the Onondaga defenders, calmly plays it down low for Christian Watts, who blows that one past Fergola for the Arrows' 15th goal of the game on their 77th shot. 41 so far for Onondaga. So only 4 shots in this period so far for the RedHawks, as they are still shorthanded. Lane Smith trying to get away from his man, gets it up to Becker. Chris Atwood has control. Atwood down low for Fraser. Up top, Becker with a long shot, denied by Fergola. Outlet pass connects with John Pierce. Pierce gonna get to the blue line and slow things down. Does have a lane to the net, with Atwood not watching him as tightly as you might think. Pierce driving in, knocked down into the crease before the ball crossed the line. No goal. And possession now for Allegany. 2-on-1. Watson Cloutier. Watts scores. Christian Watts adds another. The lead continues to grow for Allegany. It's a 10-goal game. As here you'll see a transition. Watts, smart play, gets on his right side, switches with Cloutier, and just snipes the top right corner as he beats Fergola for at least the 4th time today. I don't have the official numbers in front of me, but I know he's notched at least 4 goals. As Christian Watts, a local product in Buffalo, product of Bishop Timon, as that went to Bishop Timon High School. Siena, out in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, is where he played his Division I college lacrosse. As I mentioned, a former 5th-round draft pick of the Buffalo Bandits, spent last season with the Halifax Thunderbirds after he was released by Buffalo, and Lane Smith buries that one off of a great feed from Chase Fraser, and the lead up to 11 for Allegany. And there you can see Lane Smith just blast that one home. We'll give you another look at it here. Fraser draws the double team. Smith beats his man, and it's just that easy. for Allegany here today, 17-6. The Arrows lead. They are well on their way to their 8th win of the season. This the 4th and final meeting between these two teams this season. On the floor, Allegany has won all 3, but Onondaga was awarded a forfeit win from a game earlier in the season featuring these two teams when Allegany did have an ineligible player on the floor, so they did have to forfeit that game as officials talking with our scorekeepers over there. Some perspiration on the floor. And during this break in the action, we'll give you a look at the Can-Am leaders in penalty minutes as Dana Ray, currently serving a suspension, leads the league in penalty minutes with 41. Darren Mohawk from Newtown, second with 36. Anderson has 34. And then Keenan Ninham and Danny Weiss round out the top 5 in penalty minutes here in the Can-Am League this season. And back the other way is Edwards, who scores. Gabe Edwards puts that one past Abrams, and Allegany able to get their 7th goal of the game. And Edwards has plenty of time to put that one past Goa. Taylor slow on the slide to get to him. And that allows for Anandaga to get their 7th goal of the game, and they are within 10. Here is, they're looking to come within 9 now. Terry goes down low. Rogers spins off his man, takes the shot, but is stopped by Abrams. Dan Rogers showing off those Syracuse skills there as he was denied by Abrams. Now Watts flips it for Anderson. Anderson with a low drive, turned away by Fergola. Bucktooth picks it up in the corner, takes a heavy slash from Anderson, and will send an errant pass forward. That'll be taken care of by Kyle Gonsoriak for Allegany. Here's Anderson. Has the ball in his stick, goes cross floor, shot, scores! And some extracurriculars down on the floor. I could see Anderson deliver an extra shove. Didn't see what prompted it, but either way, another goal for Allegany as we'll give you a look at it here. Anderson in all kinds of space, makes a great pass on to the far side, and that was what did it as Nate Kettle, I believe it was Nate Kettle, knocked to the floor there as we'll replay this one again. So everyone can make sure they got a look at this as Kettle took a cross check up high, and then it was the second one delivered by Blake Terry that drew the ire of Darius Anderson. And I don't blame him for being upset. It's an 18-7 game, and a cross-check through the numbers is really just not what is needed at this point of the game. Those are the kind of plays that lead to injuries and plays that result often in penalties, as they should. But it ends up being a goal for Allegany instead, as they lead it 18-7. Here as it will be over and back against Onondaga. Tough break for the RedHawks there, but possession will go to Allegany. Chris Cloutier up for Lane Smith. Moves it down low. Fraser goes cross floor to Cloutier. Cloutier gets it off the glass. Winds up, fires, stopped by Fergola. Picking it up in the corner is Tyson Johnson. Johnson's pass goes through the crease. Nearly picked up by Blake Terry, but instead it ends up with Chris Cloutier and the Allegany Arrows. Now Lane Smith looking to go to work. Gets a pick from Becker. Smith onto the far side. Watts down low. Cloutier wide of the net. They're going to say Fergola did get a piece of it, so a fresh 30 now for the Arrows. Cloutier, swim move to get by one. Moves up top, down low, quick stick, denied by Fergola. Christian Watts on the quick stick attempt. Excellent feed from Kluch to find him. Fraser steps in, blasts that one wide. Fraser never saw a shot he didn't like, but couldn't get that one on target, as it will be an over and back violation against Allegany. Ball up top with Rio Johnson. And now helmets got stuck together, as I thought we were maybe about to see a scrap. I could see the helmets start to come off. No, it just stuck together. Got to get a look at that. Boy, this game has had it all, truly. You never know what you're going to see in a given lacrosse game. Let's take a look at that again. Like when two deer get their antlers tied together. The helmets got stuck together there, but don't worry, everyone okay. And back underway here as Rio Johnson running the offense for Onondaga. Moves it over to the near side for Pete Benedict. Down low, Trevor Hill looking to drive in. Up top for Benedict. Up top now, Cathers on the far side looking for the low pass. Can't connect. Picking it up there is Jones. Jones runs into a man. And a quick opportunity, they score. A broken play turns into a goal for Anandaga as the RedHawks pick up their 8th of the game. And you'll see right on the doorstep there, Rio Johnson tucks it home. Great find to hit Rio Johnson on the crease there. And an excellent finish for him as well. Got some activity going on in the chat. You can see Ross Bucktooth saying, wait till I'm there. Oh boy. The Onondaga legend Ross Bucktooth wants to get back out there. Just wait till you're there. I'm sure you'll be a big difference maker. But I'll tell you what, JP Fragola has done an excellent job. All credit to him. He has been very game. If he was off his bit any more than he could have been, it would have got ugly. But Fragola has been on point throughout this ball game so far. Sheldon Jackson checking in from St. Catharines. As we had someone in the stream last night from the Philippines. Don't know if they're here tonight, but if they are tuning in from all around the world, they're getting treated to a great matchup here as Kyle Gonsoriak buries that one for the 19th Allegany goal of the game. As we'll give you a look at it here. Just got the tail end of it there as Gonsoriak tucks it home to make it an 11-goal lead for Allegany. Here's a better play. Look at the play there. Gonsoriak able to tuck that one past Fragola on the break and makes it an 11-goal lead for Allegany. The Arrows have put 19 up on the RedHawks here in this game, and it's not even their highest scoring outing of the season. Allegany put up 20 in their first meeting against Onondaga earlier in the year, but now it'll be a power play coming up for the Arrows as Fraser lets a low drive go. That is stopped by Fragola, and Allegany with 3:45 and counting remaining will be on the power play. This is an Arrows team that has gotten a great opportunity here to strut their stuff and show off their talent. Had a great run at the President's Cup last year, coming home with a bronze medal. As some of their top performers throughout that Prezi run out here today, Lane Smith being one of them. Now Chris Cloutier, another who scores. Another goal for Chris Cloutier, and Allegany has put up a 20-burger here today. Just some more continued great ball movement for the Arrows. Up top for Cloutier, who blasts that one past Fergola. An excellent shot there for the reigning three-time NLL champion, Chris Cloutier, who, fun fact, back when he was in college, holds the record at North Carolina for most goals scored in a game. He had 9 in a game with the Tar Heels, but none more memorable than his championship winner for North Carolina back in the day. An excellent shot that brought the Natty home to North Carolina as he moved on to eventually be drafted by Philadelphia, traded to Buffalo, and now plays his summer lacrosse here with the Allegany Arrows as they will go back to work on offense one more time here as Chris Atwood goes for a behind-the-back pass looking for Fraser, doesn't connect. Loose ball, battled for, picked up by Cooper, out for Fraser, who scores! No crease. Fraser's been looking for that goal all game long, but he has been stymied on it for one reason or another, as the first few times it was for Gola, the last few has been the crease calls, as you be the judge yourself. Was he in? Was he not? Looked like the plant foot was good. It would have been the landing foot that would have been in the crease before the ball crossed the net. Officials right down there got a great look at that call, and you'll be the judge as well with the look we have for you, as the outside shot there from Watts is denied. Loose ball snagged by Bryson Jones. Jones with 50 seconds remaining in this game, thinking about shooting it, decides not to. Goes for Benedict. Cree Cathers able to keep it from being an over and back call as the ball stays with the Arrows, or with Onondaga, excuse me, as Rio Johnson behind the back pass goes off the glass and right into the stick of an Arrow. Gansoriak picks it up, sends a long outlet pass forward that goes well over Lane Smith and down to the end ball. Terry bringing it up, has some room. Terry with a shot, denied by Abrams. Looking to beat Goa to the 5-hole, but unable to do so here. Allegany will just run the clock out, roll the ball to the corner. Dan Rogers picks it up and has nothing to do here as the clock has run out on the Onondaga RedHawks. The final score, the Allegany Arrows 20, the Onondaga RedHawks 8, in what was a thrilling matchup that finishes shot totals 90 for Allegany, 50 for Onondaga. So both teams getting their fair share of shots off. But JP Fergola, I know he might be the backup goalie right now for Onondaga, but he's doing all he can. He played like a starter these last 2 games. Can't ask much more from him as he faced 90 shots, 70 saves for the youngster in between the pipes for Onondaga. He's got a bright future ahead for this Onondaga team, who will get used to being on the road. It's going to be some road cooking instead of home cooking here for the RedHawks throughout the month of June, as Onondaga will spend the rest of the month on the road. They will head back up to Logan Field for a game against the Braves in a week's time. Then they will head up to Brantford as they got to take on the Grand River Warriors in a back-to-back affair on the 21st and 22nd of June. And then they will round out the month on the road against Newtown. As for Allegany, the Arrows improved to 8-3. The Arrows will get ready for their next home game against the Newtown Golden Eagles coming up on June 13th. I believe we will be here for that one, so that should be an exciting affair between Newtown and Allegany. For the rest of the month for the Arrows, they will be on the road, 6/21 at Tonawanda, as they make their second trip up to Logan Field. Then they'll round out the month of June on the road against the Grand River Warriors for a back-to-back affair with them on the 27th and 28th of June. Final game for Allegany on the year, July the 6th at Newtown. Once again, the final score in this game, the Allegany Arrows 20, the Onondaga RedHawks 8. I have been Trevor Butts saying so long and thank you for watching.
We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out. We would really like to thank Goodies for sponsoring this game. Check them out with 2 locations, one in Steenberg and one in Salamanca. They'd like to thank CB's Cannabis Club for sponsoring this game. Thank you very much to a new sponsor stepping up. If you're in the area, check them out.